It's a very special day today, Lisa.
Go on.
It's the 20th of June, which means we're at summer solstice.
Way up.
Midsummer's Day, longest day, which being in England is a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That
Longer
light.
nights.
Oh.
And we're sat in a basement. But when we go out, we'll be able to enjoy it. So we've got some props today, haven't we? Do you want to put your props on?
I've got my gigs on.
Ooh, might need to give them a little.
Oh my God. You're dazzling me with your marketing brilliance.
So if you're listening and you can't see the video of this, Lisa and I have donned our sunglasses. I've got us a little bit of sun cream as well. Do you want a little? There we go, bit of sun cream.
But from when we emerge from the basement, let's hope it's brilliant sunshine outside.
We'll get out and we'll be And I've not brought ice cream because I thought it's going to melt. But what I have brought, I've got some. This is not an advert, by the way. Neapolitan ice cream, and these are new ones. I thought, share them, can't we, with everybody afterwards? Yeah, a bit different, a bit fun. I like a new product for you. Trying a new one, see what you think. I might have to take these off so I can make my notes
same.
as well. But there's a very serious nature to why we're talking about summer solstice.
Oh, is there? Can't we just eat chocolate and drink coffee?
And go sunbathing. Yeah. I think it's one of those things that as business owners, for ourselves and also for our audience, it's one of those things that seasonality can be a really big thing.
Yeah.
And learning to go with the highs and the lows in terms of like how busy you're going to be, but also what cash flow looks like. They're two things that are so key to like the fundamental ongoing nature of your business.
Yeah. And there is an element of pre-planning in terms of what you think the rhythms of, so I'm going to use that phrase, rhythms, understanding the rhythms of your business. So when you first start, you think, I envisage I'm probably going to be busy here and quiet here.
Yep.
Sometimes that plays out and you think, great,
totally
got it spot
Nailed.
on.
Yep.
And other times it doesn't. So I remember when I first started Find Me the Lead. So I started what I call actively trading at the beginning of the September. I envisaged that my last quarter would be quite quiet, but I didn't envisage just how quiet.
You're right.
And actually, because it was a new business, it took me a little bit by surprise.
Yeah.
So actually, in that first quarter,
It can be pretty scary as well.
It was really scary. So
especially for Christmas, then you're thinking, how am I going to buy presents? And
so in that first quarter, I got myself a second job and to earn some cash because I had, like
Good
you say,
shout.
Christmas to pay for.
Yep.
I very much used that as a learning to then go into the second year and anticipate that the same thing would happen again. And lo and behold, it did. But I had planned better for it that time.
Forearmed is forewarned, isn't it? Is that what you say? Is that
Absolutely. And I think so we'll talk through this episode a bit around understanding the rhythms of your business around seasonality, and then how to embrace that in terms of what that means for you as the owner of the business and the leader of the business.
Yeah.
But I just want to share a quick story which actually might make you laugh. So when I was hosting the local meetup for Enterprise Nation for Nottinghamshire, we talked about seasonality on one of our meetups. So there was myself and probably 6 other small business owners from across Nottinghamshire. And I started the conversation like, what does seasonality look like in your business and how do you manage it? And 2 things really stood out. So one of the business owners said that he dealt mostly with big organisations, and seasonality for him meant that in the summer it was very difficult for him to actually get work signed off because everyone was away on holiday. Which I hadn't actually anticipated. I thought it's all about you and how when you're off the work doesn't get done. And he said no. So he has to really factor in that a project that would normally take 6 weeks to complete, if it's running over the summer months, is probably going to take, 8 to 10 weeks because all of the decision makers that need to sign off the various elements of the project are probably not in the room at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then this other lady, we're talking about how do you manage the seasonality in your business? And she said, well, I have a cushion business. And I thought, oh, a cushion business. I thought this is genius. I want to know what this cushion business looks like. And in my head, I'm thinking she means a business to fall back on when her business is quiet.
In my head, I've got like cushions.
Well, that's exactly what it was. So I was thinking she's got a backup plan for when her main business is quiet. You know, she's got something that she can dial up or activate. And she said, oh, yeah, I've actually got a cushion business. And I sort of, you know, all right, tell me all about it. She said, oh, yeah, I make cushions. I was like, yeah, of course you do. But then I thought, how fantastic. And it really got me thinking about, as a service-based business, how you should have products that run all year round, regardless of the time of year that it is. And I think for me, I took away from that was something that I was definitely lacking in my business at the time. So when my focus was specifically on 100% towards food and drink, you know, come August, there was pretty much no guarantee of work for the rest of the year, because by that point everyone is head down focused on Christmas. So for me it was this is your opportunity to develop a product or service that can operate, you know, 365 days of the year. And that's probably a subject for a later episode.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
But what about you? I mean, how do you have like a suite of cushion products within your business that you can dial up when main business is quiet, or are you steady all the time?
Well, we've just launched Six Figure Niche, and that's something that goes all year round. So we're able to take businesses in and support them on a 12-month program. We've also got the book about to launch as well, probably September, that's coming. So that'll be something that's obviously all year round. But when we look at the other side of Touchpoints marketing with the Marketing Mavericks program, that's something that usually starts October and runs through to May. So those decisions are being made around April, May, June with people in universities that then, as you just said, they'll then be going on holiday July, August, because that's the best time for them to take time off. So those decisions can have to be made before that or get delayed until September. But actually, this seasonality, you can actually use it and play it to your advantage rather than feel like, oh, I've got peaks and troughs that I need to do lots of work here and have like a lull there. And by using it to our advantage, it's like when we think there's going to be a quiet time, that can be a time for creating more content, getting ahead of ourselves with our marketing, creating the content plan for the year. Can you imagine? And also taking time off in our own businesses to say, like, the key decision makers who normally say yes to our services and products are on holiday. Therefore, this is a great time for me to take time out, put the out of office on, take a couple of weeks off and really rest and recharge.
Yeah.
So it's like you can take it to your advantage as well as see it as something that's a hurdle.
And I think that last point around taking time off when they're taking is really important, because I think you sit there thinking, why is nobody coming back to me? And I think you just have to admit, you know, that it's because they're on holiday. So actually that's when I need to be on holiday too, if that's appropriate. So you talked about just then, right, using the quiet times to your advantage. And I'm going to sort of counteract that, if that's the right phrase, a little bit to say. It takes a while to actually feel comfortable with the quiet times, because at first, when you first start a business and it goes quiet, I don't know about you, but I panicked. I was thinking, oh my goodness, it's gone quiet.
Yeah.
You know, have I got it wrong? Is my content not landing right, etc., etc.? Because I didn't understand that this was a seasonal period within my business.
Yeah.
And you mentioned at the start of this episode that the word cash flow.
Yes.
So how do you, forearmed is forewarned, so two things here. How do you plan for the quiet times from a time perspective, but also from a cash perspective. So to ensure that, let's say your business, even though it's busy only 9 months of the year, you still have enough money to last you through the 12 months.
And to take time off and not be stressing. So I think one of the things that we did that's been instrumental to us is cash flow forecasting and being able to have like 24 months ahead, knowing how many, and obviously it's like lick your finger and stick it in the air because you don't actually know if those sales are going to come in. But when you can start to look at this amount of customers at this average amount with these different types of products and services, when there's different things that are flowing into the business, you can then start to forecast knowing this is the income, this is the expenditure. We know what our expenditure is on a normal month and we can run that along. And that obviously that will expand when we have a launch and contract again to a normal month. But it's having that cash flow forecast that makes you feel a lot more comfortable. That like, okay, there's money in the account now. Yes, I'm planning to take 2 months off next 2 months. Oh, that would be nice. 2 weeks off next month. We know that this is coming in and that's going out. We're all good.
Yeah.
We know that there's systems and processes in place and the team know what they're doing in order to continue that and facilitate.
So rather than viewing it as, oh, this month has been a good month or, oh, this month's been a bad month, it's actually a total amount aggregated across the year divided by 12, to put it in simple terms.
Yes, but sometimes it's just not quite that simple. Sometimes there is going to be an influx or there's going to be a quiet time. So looking at those peaks and troughs, not that they're necessarily going to be the same every month, but usually your expenses might be the same every month. We tend to do things with our payments. We were talking about Otter AI just before, and the difference in paying for the year up front or for monthly. And obviously you pay more with a lot of these subscriptions when you're paying monthly, but then you've got the regular cash flow and you've not got those big chunks that might be going out throughout the year. And I think it depends. If you can either get these on an annual renewal, that there's always something going out each month. It might be about 100 quid, 200 quid. If they're going out each month for different things, you are saving the money. But right now, we prefer to have things on monthly because then you can kind of like step back. Oh, we're not using that at the moment. We can step that back. Oh, we need that more. Or we need to go on to we use Capsule for our sales process. And you can go between one person, 2 people, depending on how many people need it. But you can change that each month. So then actually you're a bit more in control of how much you're spending.
And I think it's important as well, if we're breaking it down to monthly, if you have got subscriptions which are annual subscriptions, that you do divide that by 12 so that you've got a figure of what that looks like over a 12-month period. So, for example, I pay for Calendly annually. It always comes out in May, just not so long ago, but I know that essentially that equates to X number of pounds per month. So I need to ensure that that's factored into my, monthly outgoings.
Yeah.
So I think that the money side of it is something that, we're not going to delve into too much detail in this podcast because it's not what we're here for. And I think everyone manages that different.
It's an important part of what we're doing. It
really is,
but we're not accountants or financial advisors in the corporate world.
And I profess to not getting it right all of the time. Absolutely not. So
we can only talk about our own experiences.
Exactly.
Here.
But you talked about how to fill the time when it's quiet so that you still feel productive and there's still a purpose and you're still working towards, getting back up to speed for the busy time. So what sort of things do you do during the quiet times?
Well, I think you and I are both the same. We're very good at filling with things that are longer term. So we might do more networking when we have more time. Obviously, things like our podcast, we are able to have. The way we've designed it is that we have series. So we think, okay, when are we going to have a good chunk of time where we know we can then create that ongoing content? And then we take a break. So I think it's creating content for me is the biggest thing in downtimes because then it's something that can be reused. Things like, we've talked about this before when we had COVID, and obviously that was a lull we weren't expecting. And that was a time for me to start learning how to create courses. 2020, and giving that content away to help people for people to understand what we do and how we do it and the impact we make. So I think sometimes it's about thinking about what the need is of the business, what time you've got, what you've got around to be able to do things, and probably invest in. I think sometimes being able to invest in time and energy into the business is crucial in a quiet time.
And
unless you're taking time out to relax, of course.
And it's not just the business, it's you as the business owner or leader, isn't it? And it's, you talk then about learning, so upskilling yourself, which will ultimately benefit the business and potentially enable you to introduce more services.
Like 18 hours a day. I was so, like, with MemberVault, I just loved learning their whole software. I became one of their certified partners, like within weeks of starting it. I just love what they do as a course provider.
And I saw something recently on LinkedIn. One of your connections posted about that she has a CEO day once a month where she takes herself off.
Was it?
I can't remember who it was. She takes herself off and has like a strategy day. And I think I should do more of that, because I'm more of a, I do plan, but not massively long term. So I think that's my note to self in the quiet times, which I know when they're coming, is that I'm going to spend more time planning further out than just what's happening in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So actually take time to sort of get a grasp on the direction that we're heading in.
And I get really excited about that. I should do a day with you sometime, because I know now what our business is going to look like in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years. And I just get. I think the thing is, when you know what the longer term projections are and what the business is going to look like with guided visualizations and stuff, the thing is, it makes your day-to-day decisions very different, because you're thinking about, I'm going to choose this because it's going to get me there, or somebody's saying, do you want that in red or blue? It doesn't really matter, because it doesn't make a difference to my end goal.
Yeah, intentional.
Yeah, I'd love to do a day with you.
Oh.
CEO day coming up. It'd be good fun. Out in nature somewhere.
Yeah, and well, it's definitely away from the desk, using different mediums, writing as opposed to typing, just, get the creative juices flowing and just start
Post-it
to really
notes.
plan. Yeah, I love it. All right, when are we booking?
We're in.
I think that brings us to a close, does it, for this particular episode? Unless there's anything else you want to note on this longest day.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the day we actually have our CEO day, seeing as there's a huge amount of time to fill.
Go and sit in a field somewhere and enjoy the summer solstice with definitely with our sun cream on and our little ice creams, chocolates. But yeah, I think the main thing is, we've both been there. We've both done the bits where it gets the quiet time. It gets scary. You can freak out a little bit, but actually know that by investing time and energy into your business in those quiet times can actually reap rewards.
Yeah.
And just keep the faith. Or get in touch if there's anything we can do to help you. If you're having a quiet time right now and you're watching this, listening to this, we'd love to be able to help you. So you can find us on Instagram. We're at Scale Up Podcast. Get in touch. We'd love to speak to you.